Right. But what I'm trying to say is when some like I'm pretty sure he was around smoke before and this and that, but he didn't really smell that type of good smoke before, you know?
And the expertise of being able to roll, because that people don't understand. That's a big deal, being able to create the blunt.
Yeah, so
it's got to be able to pull.
To say that some of these celebrities, there's a lot of situations where I've been in clubs and I'm just smoking and like I remember one time Jeezy was just staring at me. He's like, "That shit smelled good." We was in Club Cameo and stuff like that. Rick Ross was like in New York one time. His team blowing, me and my boys blowing, and like we was having a big smoke out, and like we out smoked them. Just because they're celebrities, that don't mean they have access to the type of smoke that if you're really involved in this cannabis industry.
Yeah.
And they respect it, but it's a business to them. Of course, they're gonna go put their name on something this and that. I don't mean that's what they really smoking or want to smoke neither.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, we got to get it started. Listen, Corey is a friend of mine. I respect him so much. So the conversations are organic and natural. So let's just get started. I'm Thunder Walker with the Cloud Back Conversation right here in Oklahoma City on Route 66. We're at the 100th Centennial anniversary, and I'm so excited. This year, first guest is Corey Webb from Legacy Leaf.
Yes.
In New Jersey, came down, the snow, you're from New Jersey, so I know you can handle the snow, but apparently the airlines could not handle it. So we had to reschedule for this week, and I'm so grateful that you and your wife showed up. Last week was your anniversary. Happy anniversary, by the way. How many years?
8.
8 years? Oh, that's infant. Yeah, the figure 8. I'm so grateful to be able to host the Clawback Conversation because we talk about all things. There's nothing off the table. We really get down from legacy to legal. We talk about what it is to be a business owner. We talk about family. And we talk about some of our regrets and how we're moving forward because it takes a lot to claw your way through this system. So, man, when did you fall in love with this plant?
Oh man, I fell in love with this plant, I would say I was 14, 14 years old. Me and my friends that I went to middle school with, and then of course, early high school years, we was playing basketball, but we wanted to be cool and like be those little rebels. So we actually used to roll up a little bit of grass that we used to find in the backyard probably when we was 12 just to act like we was those cool dudes to smoke so we was able to get some good stuff. And we used to think we was hottest from smoking like really outdoor grass, but it was just something just because we thought we was cool. And then
so I'm not gonna put the age on you, but I want people to understand what you just said because we were kind of sheltered. It sounded like you were a little sheltered too, as far as knowing what was cannabis, what was not cannabis. I had a similar experience. I heard cannabis was herb or marijuana was herb, and my mom had a spice rack, or sometimes she called it the herb rack. Right. I'm like, is anything up here gonna make me high? Right. We were trying to figure it out on the slumber parties and me and my girlfriends and stuff. And so we were really trying to figure out the herb rack because that was a big deal. We were trying to find our way to what that feeling would be like.
Right.
And so you and your guys, basketball players, y'all wanted to be rebels.
It was like on the weekends, we used to go put our money together, get our little 40s, and we wanted to act like and be cool and smoke our little weed, something. This being knuckleheads, and then probably like a year or two later, this guy in my neighborhood, he gave me a pack, was what we used to call it, and it was the first drug I sold was weed, and then I dabbled in that and tried it out, and I used to like it, but I was playing basketball too, but just getting in trouble by my mom. She used to come home. I just think I smoked in the house way earlier. She'd come home like, that shit stink, and cursing me out. And Corey, I'm telling you, keep smoking. I'm gonna kick you out. And me and my mom, we moved around a lot at the time. So then things got bad. So I say around like 15, 16, I started getting into the game seriously. And
It's at the 80s, 90s, what?
this is mid 90s, early 90s.
Early 90s, okay.
90, I say like 93, 94,
93, 94.
95, 96, yeah.
Yeah.
I was on my own at 16, living
Wow.
on my own. Like, I dropped out of high school in 11th grade. So, I had to sell to stay there, like, and I did a lot of sacrifice, and I was stupid at the time. I didn't have to, but I chose the game over getting serious, playing basketball and stuff, and hanging around with the wrong crowds.
I get it. I totally get it. Because we didn't really have enough knowledge. All you heard was this is bad, this is a drug, this is all of these different things. And so I had a similar situation with my parents, and they were just like, I was the wild child. So I tried to do everything I possibly could to enjoy life. The pleasures of life was amazing to me, and it just, there was no limit for me. And it's interesting being an athlete. There in high schools, there was a certain type of high. People are cheering for you. You make that rebound or whatever you're doing, and people are truly cheering for you. And then all of a sudden, unless you go on to college or someplace else, you have to realize, where do I get that? Where do I get that feeling again? And so I think people don't realize the mental health issues of children going from being the star in this place to how do they recreate that? So moving past that, you found the herb, you start selling. What were you looking for at that moment? Were you looking for just stability, or were you looking to go up into the game?
Stability. It was really just survival, able to feed myself, give myself clothing. I didn't really think long term that it would come to this. So me being a cannabis owner, this and that. And cannabis was the only thing I was selling at that time, but it was the first drug that I did sell. But as like how you said, come to find out now that I kind of evaluated myself from back then, I probably was chasing that high from being that basketball player and getting that welcoming as I got deeper into the game.
Yeah.
The game is addictive. Like, everybody get into it to take care of themselves and money. But when you really going through it and those troubles come, do you really have to stay? You could choose another side, but we choose that side because we're addicted to some type of high of the game.
And the race of it just really makes a lot of sense. And I'm gonna give you a little bit about my background. Back in the day, I just love bad boys, love athletes, whatever. And the person that I was dating at the time, his thing was primos. Do you know what a primo is?
No.
You don't know what a primo is, Corey?
What's a primo?
You don't know what a smoking of a primo is? Oh, wow. Okay, let me educate y'all, because I'm a little bit older, so I get that. So primos, he's deceased now, but primos, he would smoke, which would be a blunt mixed with a little bit of crack, just kind of sprinkled in, and it gave it the edge. And so being a good girl, never using drugs, never smoking marijuana, just kind of dabbling here, there, and whatever, I experienced it from almost like jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. And so that's my legacy experience. I'm going to call it that, because being with him and being married to him and actually understanding what that game meant, it doesn't matter if I wasn't smoking it, because our household revolved around it. It created the life of legacy for me. And so then after that, he was actually killed on a motorcycle. And after that, I ended up trying to figure out how to maneuver in a lifestyle that was created based off of our friends and parties and stuff that we went to. Right. And I learned so much about the industry from the legacy side moving into that. And I appreciate that dip in that learning pool, because it helps me right now being able to talk to customers. It helps me right now to be able to understand and be grateful for the legal market, because In the legacy market, or what people call the black market, in that market, nothing was ever tested. Okay. So you had to know what you were getting, to be honest with you, and you had to be able to understand it. And being a wife of this person and being out at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and having to watch him and make sure that he's okay. I literally had to know, okay, what is this? What is he putting in here? Blah, blah, blah. And I walked through that whole journey with him. And it has made me a better person to appreciate what comes through my door, to appreciate what testing looks like. When I get a certificate of analysis of a product, I appreciate that I can know what metals, what is contaminants, and all of those things. Which brings me to, how do you get someone from the legacy market that is a customer and they got their plug? How do you bring them into your dispensary and say, hey, I got something better for you? How do we sell them that? I know how I sell it. I want to know how you would sell it.
I don't know. I don't know yet, because in my dispensary, we're opening up probably in another month and a half, and that's something I'm trying to learn. And I'm gonna go around to all the cultivators and look for what I like to smoke, and that's close to what I like to buy in the black market and sell to my customers, and try to aim for that high quality, so I could really switch it over to those legalized customers.
Right, because you got to flip a customer.
Yeah.
That's what
You just can't want to sell garbage. Like in the black market, you're just not going to sell garbage for
Right.
just for that dollar. So you got to do that in the legal market. You want to sell the best quality to those customers. Like, you got to treat your customers not just as a dollar.
Right, exactly. To keep them coming back. And I truly believe that the model of the legacy market is the blueprint of how the legal market, as far as customer service, can deal with. I talk about the language. The whole language of the legacy market is currently right now. We talk about QPs. We talk about zips. People come in and they ask for an eighth, or they ask for, whatever they're asking for. And if you're new to this game and you don't know the language,
right,
you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's just starting to get into books. It wasn't into books at first. It came from the streets.
You got to be personable.
Yeah.
Like if you wasn't personable from the streets in the black market, those people ain't buying off of you.
Exactly.
And they definitely won't buy off you. They might come back and rob you just because you've been rude to them.
Exactly.
so
Let's be real.
You still got to take it. You got to treat those customers on the legal market the same way. Like, like, hey, how you doing? How was your kid's graduation? Even they just mentioned that. You got to have that knowledge. Like, last time they was here, they mentioned they had to run out. They had to be fast because their kid's graduation or their kid basketball game. You got to kind of remember those customers. They're coming back every day or every couple of days. You should put some little knowledge to that and, remember their names or remember the little things that they say while they're there. And that's going to make them come back like, okay, like makes them feel comfortable about spending their money with you.
Absolutely. And that's what makes the loyal customer is not, you got to have good smoke, but let's say that everybody has good smoke or something similar, but you got to be able to know your customer and they need to trust and know you. And that's what's built and switched over. Now, you're saying that your dispensary will be opening soon. Tell us about that process of going from, deciding that you want to apply for a license, getting the license, getting chosen for a license, to where you are right now, that whole real estate side, because you can't do cannabis without real estate.
Right. I got my conditional license in July 2022. And at that time, the legalization just came out for adult use, and they were saying like if you're a social equity person or if you're a former legacy operator, you're this priority list. So you think that's a big thing. So I'm all celebrating everything. That conditional license ain't mean nothing really. Like, just the process. Because then you gotta take that to the municipality. Municipality like, all right, where's your property? You don't know you gotta have property. Now you gotta go secure a lease. Establish that property, get a letter from that landlord saying it's okay for you to put cannabis there. So now that landlord might not even know his property is in that zone for it. So now he might tell you, yeah, but now he's taking that knowledge that you done told him, and now he might take that as leverage and rent it out to somebody else.
For more money.
For more money, just because he signed that letter that you needed to show the municipality. So now you're waiting with the municipality and applying and going through all this and that, and you got to wait for the cannabis board or even just be approved in order just to go before the cannabis board. It's a whole bunch of steps. That landlord is using that same leverage against you. They're like, all right, you don't pay your rent. I got these other people that want it, because now that property is being talked about in other rooms and in other places. Now they could look it up and stuff like that. And now you gotta pay your rent on time or this and that. So it's been a long process. I'm going on 4 years. Well, this hit 4 years 2 weeks ago from that conditional license to now, and hoping to open late March, early April.
Did you have to do a lot of renovations for your property to be ready for the state to say, yes, you can sell cannabis in it?
Yes, it's being renovated right now. Finally got all my building permits, but yeah, I had to put about over 300K in renovations in order to get it passed for all the inspections and city inspections, and you got to have all the city inspections in order to get to the state inspections.
Absolutely. And people just really don't understand that. And you talk about the zone. I really want people to understand in my audience, the zone is the green zone, the 420 zone. That is the zone that says, hey, these areas right here is 1,000 or maybe 3,000 square feet from a church or a school, and that we can sell legal cannabis here. And that all is going in front of a zoning board. And all of a sudden, you have to become a real estate expert, or either you have to hire a real estate expert. Which one did you do?
I was my own real estate expert. In the black market, I had 3 smoke shops at one point. So I was always that person. Besides the first one, which was by my former partner / best friend, the boss who kind of taught me the game a little bit. And then after that, I opened my own, where I went into these empty spaces and I smoked my blunt and imagined customers coming to that door and everything, like by myself, to making those stores successful. And those stores was open for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So I felt like going into the legal field, like, why would I pay a real estate expert or a design person for something that I've been doing and actually been successful doing it? Now, as far as architecture, I had to hire an architect, but I didn't want to, because it was really all my vision.
Absolutely.
Like, you got to pay an architect all this money for something but it's cool. It's part of it.
So they can put their name on it. I get it. So tell me, what was the one thing you had to have in your dispensary? I know what mine was. Tell me what yours was. One thing that you just said, I gotta have it.
A lounge.
A lounge?
Yeah, my property is 3 floors. Before anybody was talking about lounges and everything, like I went to this lounge in California, and it was a dispensary, but they had like a black market lounge, and it was cool. It was like a diner and stuff like that. And I always took like ideas from California. And when I found this property, it was like 3 floors, and everybody was like, just make the first floor the dispensary, don't worry about upstairs. And I was like, no, the lounge upstairs is what's gonna make it, because this dispensary's all over. Like, what's gonna define it from that? And it's the lounge. Like, take it back to how my smoke shops used to be. Me and my friends or Sly's business partners, associates, we used to go in the back of my store and we'll have our smokes and our talks or play Madden and stuff like that. So now that it's legal, to take that same thing that I was doing back then and, all right, memberships, and like make it a big lounge to where it's not just for our little small group, and no, it's for the public. You want to be a member, like let's open this up. We're gonna have those same type of talks and everything. Like that was my vision.
So right now he's dropping business plans, y'all. Y'all better be taking notes, pull the pens out. These are notes. And the reason why is because guess what? You cannot smoke anywhere you want to smoke, even in a rec or an adult use state. You cannot. It's really, really crazy. The lounge is the place. If you living in an apartment complex, they can say, oh no. If you renting a property, they can say, oh no. It's not, certain places you can't even smoke in the park or in your own car.
Right.
So the lounge is that money maker that balances out everything that's there. And then you set the rules, which I love, because I was in New Mexico and you can't bring your own smoke to their lounge. They have to set you up because they have a dispensary right next door. And so it's just all, in my opinion, layers to this shit.
That's how New Jersey is going to be. Like you can't bring in your outside smoke. You'll have to purchase from there. That's going to be a whole nother step just to get up to that point. But I'm trying to take it back to where it originated from. Like I remember my homeboy had a smoke shop, and we used to all be back there, and people used to pass through, and we'll have our smokes and stuff like that. Because sometimes everybody smoke, but to be able to have a smoke and talk with someone, you never know what that would do for that person, what it did for that person to keep them going out in this world and doing something crazy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're going to be opening in a couple of weeks. I get that, a couple of months, I say. And what's the one thing that you want to carry? What's the big glass? Are you carrying glass too? Give me your vision.
Carry everything that I'm legally able to carry. Glass. You can't have tobacco, but hopefully the best hemp wraps there are. But things that I know people in my local community want. Like I don't want to be one of those dispensaries where I'm just selling what these so-called commission people or the state officials want me to sell, and then next I'm going out of business. I want to take that following from my stores that I had to there, but also to the other market also.
Gotcha.
The white market, if you want to call it that.
And make it switch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The best of both worlds. I want to be that dispensary for the black market consumers, but also for that white market consumers, those new consumers that don't know, or the younger consumers that actually don't know how to smoke. I want to be like that community center. Like, all right, how old are you? 21? And some of these young guys, they want to smoke all that harsh and sprayed on fake weed. Like, I want to be like, hey, come back. Come. We have an event upstairs. Like, come upstairs. Let's show this young brother or this young woman how to properly smoke, what good smoke is.
At Proud Mary, we had to do some of the same things. Sometimes we'll turn people away that come in and try to sell us stuff that is sprayed to taste like a certain type of soda or whatever, and it's just really bad weed that they add stuff to. And then there's I call them the cannibal mirth, where all of a sudden now they're getting the idea that, hey, I'm 50, 60, 70 years old. I want to learn how to smoke. I want to learn how to grind because they got arthritis and they got all those types of things. And so now they're stepping into it because the stigma is leaving. So that is so cool that you want to do that. What's another big challenge? I mean, you're a dad, you're a husband, you're a businessman. What's something else that's really affecting how you maneuver in this market? What do you want your kids to be proud of?
That I took something that when they was younger, they was told that was dad is doing something illegal, dad is a drug dealer, but to be looked at in their eyes as dad is a businessman.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you got 3, right?
Yeah, 3.
3.
21, 17.
Boys and girls?
1 boy, 2 girls.
1 boy, 2 girls. Shout out to Miss Webb doing her thing, brought it to the table. Yes, the women that hold these men down, sometimes it's a lot. It's truly a lot to be able to hold y'all down because there is so much tension to try to bring this dream into the present. I love how you said you sat back and you manifested and you looked at that door and you said, okay, I can see people coming in here. Yeah. And that's an amazing thing. So we got to switch gears and talk a little bit about what you want to see in the New Jersey market. Because this is where some people, I kind of got, I'm going to say a little bit blackballed. When I first heard of social equity, when I first met you, people asked me, well, how long did it take you to get your license? And we were all at the masquerade party and we were having a great time. And I was like, I don't know, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And I was hearing the story, 4 years, 5 years, 2 years. We have a social equity license. And I was appalled. I'm going to be honest with you. But it hadn't sunk into the industry yet. I already knew, why do we have to have a certain line for this?
Right.
And so when I said that, they weren't ready to hear what I was saying. Now, fast forward 3 or 4 years, those same people, they're saying the same things I was saying. Because it doesn't take much. It's just a matter of basically saying, hey, this license costs this much because you did such and such. There shouldn't have to be a line. I didn't get it. Right. So I was never one to embrace it. So tell us a little bit about why it took so long for people to realize that it wasn't necessarily a benefit.
Because New Jersey advertised it like, if you're a social equity applicant or you're a social equity business owner, you're entitled to these benefits and all that stuff. So everybody was just they was happy when they got that credit. I'm a social equity applicant. But I remember I had this consultant that I paid at the time when I thought I needed that consultant, like to get me my license, he kept referring to me as like, I'm only doing this because you're social equity, or I'm only giving you this price of social equity. So this was being said to me for a couple of weeks. To finally, I was like, stop fucking saying that to me. Like, stop calling me a social equity person. Like, the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And then I fired him actually. Like, I don't need you no more, this and that. Like, I could have did this myself, but like after a while, people started looking at you like that was like you're beneath them or lower than them. Like even how New Jersey got it, like, all right, your social equity, really you only could start off as a micro business, right? But in my eyes, like, if I'm social equity, if I really wanted to aim for the stars, why can't I start off as a standard business operator? Why do I have to start off as micro business? If I'm social equity, why can't you help me be a standard business? Like,
Right.
So it's like, that's, to me, social equity, it has this little things, like it helped us get grants, but even with that, we had to work for those grants. So being hit and saying like, all right, you qualified for social equity, it didn't really do anything.
I helped a couple of people out of California with that same thing. A couple of ladies, they had the social equity license, and it just didn't make sense to me. It made me feel, like you said, they talked down to them. They made them jump through extra hoops. And I was like, a normal business person doesn't have to jump through all these hoops. What is the deal? And some of it, which I felt was a crutch. You give them $75,000 and they are getting their business open, and then all of a sudden the money runs out, but you haven't taught them how to run a business without that cushion.
Right.
And so then they have to go to investors, and then they only become the face. And that's what I was seeing. And so when I spoke out about that, people really didn't like it. And so I'm glad people are starting to see it. I do believe that if a person has served time in prison or jail for cannabis, then they should have social justice. But I don't like the silos. We already have enough silos in this country, in this world. Everybody's placed in these little parts, and cannabis should bring us all together. And so that's why I didn't embrace it.
Yeah.
But needless to say, now that term, they've gotten rid of it, which is crazy.
You don't hear it as much. Yeah.
And so what do you think about, and this is, I love pushing the edge. If you on the clawback conversation, we're going to talk about it. What do you think about Trump and his executive order? I mean, it hasn't really come out and really hit anything, but damn, that was the first time I heard every media outlet and all the places that we normally get shadow banned actually talking about it all at the same time. And I thought that was interesting. What did you think?
I thought it was interesting, but I think that's stuff that, the government, they're planting their seeds for it to go federally legal very soon. Like, and when you see stuff like that, you just know it's coming. And we don't know what that's going to be, but, Trump is only president because he's a good businessman. So, he was one of the main people that, for years, during his first term, I'm never legalizing cannabis. Now, your second term, if we want to call it that, you're doing an executive order, but at the same time, a couple of weeks before that executive order, he put a hemp ban in. So it's like, why is that? Like, supposedly it's a multi-billion dollar hemp loophole. Like, that hemp ban is because the government wants a piece of that money. Like, it's capitalism, so.
Absolutely. It's coming because Oklahoma has something written in the law where we talk about being able to transport once it becomes legal across state lines. I noticed that New Jersey is talking about that also. So What's your opinion on that?
It's going to be a good thing, but at the same time, they're doing that because the bigger corporations, these MSOs, most of the big MSOs in New Jersey, they're from California or Canada. So they're not really doing it to help people like me out or you out, they're doing it for these bigger companies. Like, all right, we can't grow this good quality stuff here. They're basically they're doing what we've been new. Like, certain areas geographically grow better marijuana, no matter how fancy your equipment is or whatever. So now the MSOs are getting on it like, all right, how can we do this? Which they're probably doing anyway. And now it's going to be multi-state where you could get it from one state and sell it in the other. And that's going to help people like me out and, some smart black market people like, okay, so I could get it from here and sell it here. That's great.
Once again, legacy market is already doing it. We can just figure out, hey, y'all already doing it. Just tell us the plan. I mean, when you learn how to make, I don't know what your favorite dessert was when you were a kid, but I love a 7-Up cake. I was big on the 7-Up cakes, a little bit of strawberry all on top. Yes, that'll take me where I want. Pound cakes was my thing as a kid. And then my mom would cut up the strawberries, put them on top with the sugar and everything else. I don't want to change the recipe. We can make the recipe better, but I don't really want to change the recipe. And I think once you can go from state to state and understand what's good in New Jersey, what's good in New York, what's good in California, what's good in Oklahoma, and then merge that together, then you got a really good product. You got a really good way of doing business. But when we get in these little sections and say, I'm Oklahoma, you New Jersey, we can't talk to each other, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's a problem. It doesn't make sense. And there's no other business that does that. I just love the fact that we can have these conversations. I'm glad that you came down to Oklahoma to be able to see our industry. I got a chance to see New Jersey's industry. You got a chance to show me right on the street corner from where it was. I got a chance to see his dispensary at the very beginning. But if we don't talk to each other, we don't know what we're missing. I had no idea all the things that was going on, and you probably didn't know a lot about me. All of a sudden, someone called you on the phone and said Thunder Walker's coming to town, and that's how it happened.
Right.
And that's it. But you took the chance and you said, "Okay, I'm going to talk to her." And we sit on a cold corner on the side of the street, and we had some amazing dialogue. And that's what happens when you talk to each other. I got to ask you this question: Legacy Leaf. I love the name. I love the inspiration. You told us that you've been drugged out by police officers, all those things, your smoke shops, all of that. And so I think that name really still holds to you. What does it mean to your community and to the public? Do you want that name to say you can trust me? I mean, what made you go with that name?
That name is actually deep. So, when I first started going to these conferences in New Jersey, I didn't know the term legacy operators, even though I had that name. So I'm sitting there, and is this New Jersey lady. Her name is Precious, but she's a manufacturer there. Shout out to Precious. But she was
hey girl.
She was teaching me the game, and we're sitting there, and I kept hearing the word legacy, and the panelist up there, he was like, they don't do this. The legacy people are gonna sue this. The legacy people are gonna sue that. And I leaned over to her, I was like, who are these legacy people? She's like, that's people like you. I was like, oh shit, okay. I didn't know. This was probably back like 2022, 2023, and I was like, damn, okay. But then back in the day, where me and my friends, we grew up at, and it was like multiple crews, even though we was one big crew, but inside this big crew, everybody had this small crew. So because we was the youngest ones out this big crew in our neighborhood, and we was dealing, then me and my little crew, we was like, we're the legacy crew. We gonna be because we was the youngest ones. This is back like 94, 95, 96. We the youngest ones. Now, this is when we was about 15, 16, 17, and the oldest crew of this big crew, they probably was like in their late 30s, early 40s, so we was like, we're gonna be the legacy of this. We was the ones out there fighting and everything, so we felt like we was gonna be the legacy, meaning the future of it. So then when I thought about it, and I was like, oh, legacy this? I was like, oh, I got a legacy leaf. That means the stories from then, present, and the future. It's just meant to be for that name. So legacy leaf is about all that, those stories from me and my friends back then to now, my kids, and what it leads to the future also.
I like that. I like that. You know, Oklahoma just went prepackaged, which means we used to have deli style weed where you could actually show it in a jar and they could smell it, they could see it, all of those things and make their decision. Are y'all prepackaged or y'all deli style?
Prepackaged, which I hate. We're allowed to, if you want the customers to really see what's just selling, you'll have to do it like a cannabis bar where they could pull the glass up, spray it, but you're not allowed to touch it or anything else.
Yeah, that's
kind of messed up.
Yeah, that was, to me, that was a ritual. I mean, literally, people would come in and they would want to smell stuff, and it was like an event for them, like a small little outing. And now it's more or less packaging needs to be hot. It needs to be interesting. They need to be able to see through it on some place or whatever. How are you going to make that work? Coming from the legacy side, I mean, how does one make that switch and change? What's the tip you want to give our audience?
I'm probably gonna do some things I shouldn't be doing. I'll probably be crossing over that line a little bit.
Okay, we don't want to get it. I'm just messing with you, Corey.
But that's where cannabis came from. Like, you know, selling this plant was crossing over that line a little bit. So I'm not gonna try to break too many laws where it's gonna get shut down. But you know, got to take it back to like where it started from. Like, I remember I used to have these customers. It was a husband and wife. They used to come to my shop once a week and spend $100, and we used to sell books. But they wanted to smell what they was buying, and I thought it was like the most beautiful thing. Like, this husband and wife, every week they came in and they wanted to smell the weed.
Yeah,
like, you
I'm
know,
telling you, it's like a date.
Look at the book, what they was gonna read while they was smoking their weed. It was their ritual. Like,
it's
a
date night. I'm
still
telling you.
Still got to take it back to those customers.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's where the events, in my opinion, come in.
Yeah.
Like when I had Shake, Rattle, and Roll here, and we taught our cannabammers how to roll, how to grind, all of those things, and make sure that they understood how to make it work for them and how to get a good pull.
And that's what the upstairs in my location.
There you go. So yeah, so it you know, we'll make it happen. I'm sure you'll make it happen.
Yeah.
The one thing I had to have is my mural up there. There was things that I wanted. Everybody wants their dispensary to have some type of flavor or whatever, but I wanted my dispensary to be a place where someone could come in, buy what they want, but just sit down if they needed to sit down for a few minutes and kind of talk, not just in and out. I didn't want a 7-Eleven style dispensary. So everyone that's in this industry, you got to figure out what that thing is that's going to really sell and make you own the block. My dispensary, I think, could really be studied because Oklahoma is very difficult. We can have dispensaries right beside each other. There's no issue there. And New Jersey's not like that, right? Don't you have to have a certain amount of square footage?
Yeah, you can't be within 1,000 feet of another one. They're very in tune with that, except for Jersey City, where they got them all top of each other, and a lot of those businesses are failing, but they didn't go by the proper ordinance there. But yeah, New Jersey is 1,000 feet from each other, and where I'm at, there's no dispensary. I'm in the downtown district, so
that's cool.
Yeah, my competitor, they went out of business there, but they went about it the wrong way, or they fell victim to like the bad cannabis industry that's going on in New Jersey. It's hard to survive.
What do you think of medical cannabis? Like the RSO oils, the this, the that.
I mean, it's a good thing for those that need it. Like, you know, now that I'm coming from the black market, but now I'm getting older and I'm going through like my health times and stuff like that. Like, you know, I prefer to smoke cannabis instead of taking muscle relaxers that I need for certain conditions I'm going through and all that stuff. So I think medical is good for those people that, you know, need something to convert for pain. Like, you know, I actually just read an article, New Jersey just passed, you get approved for medical if you have sickle cell. Like, you know, our youngest child has sickle cell, so I think that's good. Like, so medical has its good things for those type of people also.
Absolutely, because sometimes that's the scariest part. My daughter, I'm grateful that you shared that with us. My daughter is a cannabis patient, and she has autism, and it really has helped her. But being that kind of mom and that caregiver, you're looking for something that's going to help your child no matter what. And if it's the plant, even though you have to deal with pediatricians, you have to deal with family members, whatever. For me, I made that decision. I said, you're not with her 24/7. You're not going to be with her 24/7. I want her to be comfortable. I want her to be able to thrive the best that she can. And so it makes sense to me. My audience, I'm so excited that they're going to have some questions for you, but I think we should take a break. This is Corey Webb with Legacy Leaf and the Clawback Conversation. I'm Thunder Walker, and I'm so grateful that you guys have tuned in. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to have some questions for Mr. Corey Webb from these young people that want to know about your history and everything that you've done to put this together. A businessman doing what he loves and taking it to the legal side is so big to me, because everybody should be able to do what they want to do in life.
Right.
Exactly. So let's do it. Okay, we're back for the Clawback Conversation. We got Corey Webb right here in Oklahoma City, and we're going for questions with our audience. And I love this part because we don't know what they're going to ask, but they definitely will push the limit, and it might be something you're interested in. So let's get to it. We have KV Allen here, one of the Thundercats and a well-known artist in Oklahoma. KV, what's your question?
So my question is, what made you want to go legal? Was it just your son, or was it just you wanted to leave a legacy behind your name?
I wanted to go legal because I think eventually, once it goes federal, they're gonna push the black market people out, and I feel like I owe it to myself, the people that didn't make it to see this point, to them and my family, that 10 years from now I want to be like, oh, I'm still making money. Like, I didn't do this all for nothing.
Okay.
Do you have another question?
No. That's it.
Okay, well, I appreciate you. Tell us a little bit about yourself before you get up, please.
You know what I'm saying? My name is KV, and I've been in Oklahoma for a little while. I'm from California, but I've been here about 10 or 11 years now. And I'm a well-known rapper, like she say, and that's about it.
Cool. I appreciate you coming and asking questions, because it's not that easy grabbing the mic always.
Nah, it's not. I'm totally starstruck right now. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure. Thank you.
And we have one more person that's coming up for a question, and her name is Annika. Annika is a model in Oklahoma and around the country, not just in Oklahoma. So, Annika.
You're opening up a dispensary, correct?
Yes.
Do you already have other dispensaries?
No, I used to run about 3 smoke shops.
Okay.
In New Jersey and in the same city of Newark, where I'm opening up my legalized dispensary. Okay. So I'm basically just converting over from the black market to the legal market.
Okay. So after that, do you see yourself like opening up more, or just kind of sticking with the one?
I want to open up more.
Yeah.
I want to get into the cultivation and manufacturing side, but I actually want to franchise out. I want to go around America and help other illegal dealers that were like me, that have that same intellect and courage, that want to have that courage to convert over to the legal market, and help them and kind of avoid those, help them hit the pitfalls that I did and kind of merge together, help those that can't really go legal yet.
Okay. Love that. And so I also hear that you own a lounge or lounges.
No, the lounge is going to be upstairs on top of the
Okay.
dispensary,
Okay.
and it's going to eventually be a consumption lounge. It's going to be like a community center where it's going to be all type of events there, and just it's a cool place to come and hang out also, with podcasts and men talk nights, women talk nights, and just that cool hangout community center place with cannabis.
I love that, because I know like in the future, honestly, I would love to invest in a lounge myself, a little smoking lounge, all that. I love catering to my people, so I feel like I could cultivate, create a very nice atmosphere for people. because I do puff and paints and stuff around the city already, and I want to integrate that creative and that artist aspect into lounges too, and so it's really cool.
Well, that's what the lounge is going to be a part of too. It's going to be private events for people like you or other entrepreneurs that want to, that whatever your talent is, or you want to be an artist, or you want to do like an event there that promotes your whatever you have going on. That's what the lounge is going to be about. Like, so it's going to be give those that option and that space for, like, everybody can afford just to rent out a space or buy a space to be an entrepreneur. So that's what the lounge is going to be.
It reminds me of like Brick House Saloon in Shawnee. We went. Had
Exactly.
this.
It's half dispensary, half a saloon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah. And we're going to get, like, help those with the private space. Like, so if it's not getting used, why not go ahead, use it? Like, it's promotion for all parties involved. So.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Annika, for those beautiful questions. We're going to go ahead and get right into the medical part of cannabis, because I got some medical questions for you. How do you deal with pain? How do you deal with aging, growing older, and all of that type of stuff, because I heard you say that you do not use pills. So how do you take cannabis and do that? So join us. We're going to go to break and then join us as soon as we finish. We're back, and I'm so excited once again to bring you just a little bit more of Corey Webb. His life is so interesting. I mean, from basketball star to dibbling and dabbling in trying to find weed, but it was grass, all the way up to now being a husband, a father, and a business owner in New Jersey, coming out of the legacy market into the legal market and truly understanding the benefits of the legal market. How are you using cannabis right now in your life? I mean, I know probably, leisurely, but are you using it any other way?
Yeah, I use it for medical reasons. I used to have bladder cancer. I was diagnosed with that in 2019, 2020. The stuff that they was giving me medically wasn't doing it for me. So my urologist, he didn't know I sold cannabis. He was like, "Do you know where to get any cannabis?"
Wait a moment, he was trying to tell the plug where, go find the plug.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, because
when you were sitting there, you were probably like, I cannot believe my ears.
yeah, I actually started laughing because it was crazy because I don't know I was so stupid because they gave me this medical card, so I went and got the medical cannabis. This was in Florida, and it was like so harsh, it burnt my throat, this and that. So I went back, I can't smoke that stuff. And then he was like, "Do you know how to get any regular stuff from?" I was like, "Sure I do." But he didn't know this was my career.
Right.
But I wasn't smoking then. Like, I always took breaks, and at that time I wasn't smoking cannabis. I was probably had smoked cannabis about like 5 years. So I started back smoking, and after about 3 surgeries, my tumors went from 3 to 1 to basically no tumors. This April would be 6 years cancer-free, no tumors. But after that, I just kept smoking the cannabis because I got anxiety, and I don't like pills. So, and I use the cannabis for a lot of different things other than from that kid smoking grass.
Right.
I said, so now I look into it a different way. And a different way to just being a black market dealer. I never really looked into the medical side until I had to deal with it if it needed it for medical reasons.
Absolutely. What's interesting about Oklahoma is that we have a program here where even if you're an out-of-state person, if you have business here, you have family here, you can apply for a medical card even here. And I think that's so important because as the country moves forward, I want a national medical card. And the only way to do that is to find a state that has a great medical program. Oklahoma to me, has a good medical program. I'm sure there's other states that have a good medical program. But what do you want to see if we can get a national medical card? And what that would mean for me, it's almost like reciprocity. My daughter has a medical card, I have a medical card. If I want to fly to, I don't know, Alabama or someplace that has a medical program like Florida, I automatically can go there and get maybe not the same black runts, but something similar if that's what I'm using.
I think you should be able to do that. I think they should have medical in every state in the nation, just for those exact reasons. Like, people use it for a lot of different reasons. Like you mentioned your child, people use it for different reasons. So let's say if you're traveling with your child to a state that doesn't have medical, like what are you going to do with your child? You should be able to just go get cannabis no matter what state you're in. Because how can it be considered for medical, but not in those states? Suppose a child or a person needs it right then and there, you should be able to get it just like any other medicine.
Absolutely, absolutely. And going through what you went through with the diagnosis of cancer, at that time, you're married, you have kids. How many kids do you have at that time?
I had 3.
You had 3 kids.
Yeah.
With that diagnosis. At that point, and they're giving you all of these different things that, my father had cancer, my brother had cancer. So I kind of know some of the things that you have to go through as far as the chemo and all of that, the radiation. At what point did you say to yourself, I got to get back on this plant that has loved me?
When the doctor asked me, can I get any cannabis somewhere else? But, they was giving me like medical pills or painkillers and stuff like that, and I don't like to take pills. Like I'm scared of pills. Even when I had certain employees that worked for me in the black market, I had a rule like you can't work for me if you took pills, because like it led to this bad experiences. And I used to be addicted to promethazine, so I knew I had like an addiction problem. So
what's promethazine?
Well, and where we're from, it's called syrup. So at that time, like I was drinking what we call like purple.
Okay,
So
just say syrup.
Yeah, syrup.
Just say syrup. No, I appreciate you giving us the real term for it. But in my neighborhood, it was the syrup.
The
lean.
lean.
The lean. Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Earlier when you said you didn't know what primos were, I was like, oh no, what happened? Why do you not know?
Because in Jersey, primos are considered woolies. Like
Woolies.
Yeah.
And see, that's why I love the legacy market, because it is so diverse and different. And we even came up with a couple of more words that I didn't know about and you didn't know about. And so now we've exchanged even that information. That's why I say that the foundation of the legal market has to be the legacy market. But before you even get to the legal market, or the rec market, you got to go legacy, you got to go medical, and then you can go rec.
Right.
But if you skip any of those steps, the building will not stand, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because believe it or not, the customer may still be in the legacy market. Whether we like that or not, mentally they still have that choice, and I don't think that choice is going away.
It will never go away. That's why if you go legal, you got to bring that to the legal market. It's never going to go away, and that customer always going to want that personable experience, no matter what.
Right, and it makes them feel special when they can look at their phone and they can text the plug. Yeah. Well, when they call me here at Proud Mary, I'm like, are you open? That's the same thing. Are you on the corner? Yeah, I'm on the corner. And what do you have? And I will tell them, yeah, I got this and I got that, and then they'll come on down. But they're still doing those same steps, and we are kind of delusional to think that that's just going to be erased after all those years.
Right.
So, yeah, wow. So, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let me know.
How difficult was it for you to open up your dispensary?
You know what? To get the license was not hard. To open up was not hard. Oklahoma is a state that actually came in with $2,500 for every license, okay, which created competition, and people don't like that. They all of a sudden say the market is saturated. But this is the only industry that they say the market is saturated. They never say that about handbags and purses. They never say that about tennis shoes. They never say that about restaurants. But for whatever reason, they want to say, or even drugstores. But for whatever reason, they want to say cannabis is all of a sudden saturated. But they need to understand that competition is the best thing in the world for this industry, because it's going to take out the people that are not going to be compliant. It's going to take out the people that are not going to be personable with the customer service. It's going to take out the bad growers. Competition will sort it all out. And to me, that's more important than to get this steep price for a license and hold people out of the market. Let them come into the market, and if they can survive it, then they should be here.
Right.
And that's what I think. The market here, they froze the license, but you can buy other people's license, but they froze the license. And now it's about bringing brands here. And so that's one of the things that I really want to share with you, is the opportunity to talk about bringing a brand to Oklahoma, partnering with some growers and some processors, and seeing if Legacy Leaf can make a dent in Oklahoma, be on the shelf here with the dispensaries. And then from there, as this thing grows and opens up, we create our own network of saying, hey, I'm already in Jersey. Thunder Walker's in Jersey. Corey Webb is in Oklahoma. And we did it before.
Right.
Everybody said, okay, let's do it. Because behind the scenes, guess what's happening? They're already making deals. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting back, not even figuring out. They going to the prom. I'm telling you right now, they going to the prom together. They have made their deals. Amazon is making deals. Everybody is making their deals. The loungers will be Starbucks. You will be able to get cannabis here, there, whatever. What is that place called? You get the fruit and they take it and it's edible. It's infused. They're coming out with some stuff. You already see that there's a lot of THC drinks coming out at different places. I knew when Target started saying, hey, I'm going to sell a THC drink, and I think Virgin Airlines had started talking about it. I said, this thing is already out there. Yeah. They're already making their deals. It's just a matter of pulling the plug. And so we just need to figure out how to work with each other. And I think that that's a part that's going to really make sense. And that's why I want to bring people to Oklahoma, and I can go to other states, and then we can try to figure out how this whole thing is going to work, because we don't want to be just sitting around and miss the whole supper. I mean, not just having a seat at the table, but miss the whole damn dinner. And that's what I'm concerned about.
Right. That's what these corporations are doing, and then that's what we should be doing.
Exactly.
Like who's to say, why can't, like how you said, why can't we have your stuff on my shelves or vice versa? Because you don't see them doing that at Walmart. You go in Walmart, you see hundreds of corporations. You see all these big names.
Absolutely.
But Walmart sells it. Like, you don't see Walmart saying like, oh no, Hunts, I don't like your ketchup. You can't be in here.
Right.
Like, no, like that's what it's all about. Like, you're supposed to be able to sell more than one business name and to your customers. Like, this grower has this one specific thing. Like, I should be able to sell that, or vice versa. Or I sell your stuff, you sell my stuff, and let's get this money together, because that's what the corporations are doing.
Absolutely. And it's just about a conversation and a contract. That's all it's about. You can start out small, you can go big, whatever. But you're absolutely right. You will go into a store and you will see Hunt's, you will see Del Monte, and guess what? Then you'll see the generic brand. But that generic brand was not made by Walmart or whatever store it was. It's actually made by either one of those companies, and they just put their label on it.
Exactly. White labeling, right?
It's still white label. We ain't inventing nothing new.
Right. We just learning a new game, and we're taking that into stuff that we've been doing on the black market side, but we're learning the new legal terms of it and want to do it in a legalized way. Absolutely.
I just appreciate your time, your energy, your effort. I have to ask you, because your beautiful wife is here, and I got a chance to spend some time with her, and she told me a little bit about supporting you in your journey. And most people know me, and they see me travel, and they see me with JW and us together as a couple. How important it is, okay? How important is it to have that type of energy around you as a man? The ladies, listen up. How important is it for that support to be there? Because, sometimes you're sitting at the table and no one looks like you, no one's cheering you on. all of that, how important is it to know that, hey, when I leave out of this meeting, I can call her?
That's very important to know that she knows that I'm somewhere, or I'm here for this meeting, and how important it is, or just to call back home and be like, such and such happened, and just to have someone like, all right, let's think about this. And she's into she's a mental psychologist anyway, so that's her field. So just to be able to call back and just have that support when I'm about to give up or break down or do something crazy or did something crazy, because sometimes I do lose it and I call her afterwards, or
You get the ring, you don't know what it's about.
but sometimes it's just good just to have that support and understanding, and someone not to be like, oh no, I need you to be here, or give up, like, because I have a hard time giving up. So if she was the type of person that would have told me to give up, probably wouldn't have worked. But it helps for just to have that support.
I love that. I love that. Believe it or not, people that smoke together stay together. I'm just letting you know, because it is interesting how much time this industry takes. It takes time. And so that person, even if you're not a smoker and you're with someone, you got to be able to support it, because if that person is a cultivator, they have to take care of the plants. If that person is a processor, they got to make sure that the deadlines and everything is compliance and blah, blah, blah. If that person is a dispensary owner, if no one else is going to be there to sell the package of Ace, that person got to sell the package of Ace.
Yeah, and it took a lot for her to understand that. It's been times like when I ran my smoke shop, if one of those employees wasn't there, I'm like, babe, I gotta go. Nobody's there to work the store. And for a while, she's like, all right. So I'm like, nah, this is a big deal. I gotta get there. My customers need to, like, we gotta be open. I work Christmas days, Thanksgiving days, holidays. The store never closed. Like, if it's a blizzard outside and it's able, like, those doors gotta be open. And took a lot. I went through a lot of employees to understand that. Like, but I'm loyal to my customers, and that's how business goes.
You're absolutely right. And let's talk about that. We had 18 inches of snow. That's why you wasn't here last time. And our doors were open. And guess what? People came in. And the reason why they came in is because, think about it. If you're at home with somebody that you truly love, even your kids, your spouse, whatever, if you haven't had that much time together all at once, you may need to get you a pre-roll. A little bit, just a little bit, to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
Well, I have loved this conversation. I'm Thunder Walker with the Clawback Conversation and the Thunder Walker Experience. This is Corey Webb with Legacy Leaf in New Jersey. Tell them how they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram, Legacy Leaf LLC. If you're ever in New Jersey, look up Legacy Leaf Dispensary at 100 Market Street, downtown Newark. My name is Corey Webb. You can look me up on LinkedIn also. Thank you.
All right then. That was amazing. That was really, really good.